You are now entering Maximum Driftcast, the only drifting podcast hosted by a Spanish soccer mom, a 30-year-old silver-haired fox going on 60, and finally, a 200-pound bowl of spaghetti with chimichanga arms.
The champions, we are the champions.
And we're back.
Welcome to Maximum Driftcast, the only show with spaghetti and arms. Corey's got arms, Paco's got arms, and Chelsea's got arms. Chelsea, welcome to the show. This is Arm Talk. What's up? How are your hands doing today?
They're good. You're leaning on me over here, dude.
Yeah, so this is looks like a fatter version of you.
Yeah.
What year would we put this Chelsea at?
2017 or 18.
Good year.
Good year.
Not as good as
2017.
2017, good year. Not as good as 2020, though, because you were Formula Drift Round 2 champion.
Woo!
Which happened right after Round 1,
Wha-
where Big Fred was champ. But Round 2
Big
is all about
Fred.
you. Big Fred, we're going to talk to Big Fred next week, I think. But this weekend is all this weekend. This beautiful Wednesday night is all about you and your accomplishments, and what a fucking weird time it must be right now to do Formula Drifting event. But we have to, I mean, in style, we got to spend at least the first 5 to 10 minutes to not talk about drifting. Corey, hit us with whatever it is.
Sam, drifting is tough right now, and we've actually been building computers, guys. We've been getting into computer biz for a long time.
Yep.
So if you guys want to do full 10-minute geek out on what's your specs?
Yeah, Chelsea, what's your specs right now?
Nothing. Stock ass OEM MacBook
Okay.
Pro.
All right, so that's a filthy casual, is what we'd call
Well, one
you.
thing, guys, and Chelsea's being very nonchalant about this. Before he mentioned how old was your laptop, Chelsea? Go ahead. You said it was very old.
It's very old, yeah.
Okay.
It's
Nice.
I don't even know. It's so old that I had to use my wife's.
My wife.
Mine doesn't
wow.
even have an HD camera.
Well, this is a Maximum Driftcast first. Wow.
Okay.
Breaking records, man.
Corey, what are your specs? Seems like what are you working with today?
Man, I'm working with the 2080 Gaming X Trio graphics card with 32 gigabytes of RAM. M.2, 1 terabyte. Solid state, 1 terabyte.
Real quick, I don't know if you've noticed my new situation here. I've got a gamer headset. This is a Turtle Beach 69XX420.
Oh, man.
That way I can hear every Dorito crunch. So if you want to eat a Dorito on the microphone, let me hear that right into Corey's face. Paco, looks like you are drinking. I can tell by the side of that label it's a 19 Crimes. Don't even turn it. Yup. All right. So did you know that there's a special thing on that bottle where you pull your phone up to it? If you download the app, it animates the guy and he says like, I'm an Australian criminal. I'm Mad Mike and I'm a criminal from Australia.
It's the best party trick I ever pulled, other than pulling down my pants.
Yeah, Paco knows how to get the ladies with the wine bottle tricks. I think that's enough of not drifting. Chelsea,
You know what computer we're running this podcast show on?
No, do tell me.
It's a Pentium 486 with 16 megs of RAM, 556 megabyte hard drive.
Harabashes.
Yep.
Uh-huh.
Go ahead.
Yeah. No, I mean it's top of the line.
Good.
And it looks like you're doing a lot of stock trading, investor insiders stuff in the background there.
It has
Paco.
one of those stickers that says Intel inside, so I mean it just guarantees it's just like high.
I wish Paco would just do shitty infomercials from here on out, like quit his career of whatever he's doing and just do very shitty infomercials.
You know that,
like I'm talking about the ones like 3 a.m. that come on. You're just like, what is this? Like maybe wear that suit with the question marks all over it and sell a really shitty book.
like the white people can't open a can of a bottle of milk or those kind of like, yep.
My dad used to always blame me for breaking our computers growing up. And then he's like, you know what? Fuck this. You can build your own computer. And that was at like age 14, 15. And he gave me like a budget and I built my own computer. And then guess what? My computer never broke and his computer kept breaking. And you know why? It's because he kept on downloading porn onto it. So
Your dad was
Busted,
porn up in?
Mr. Nelvin.
Yeah, my dad was looking at porn.
Dude,
So
go
here's
ahead,
a secret to longevity in your computer life and your personal
Don't
life.
let your dad beat
Don't
off
let
on
your
it.
dad look at porn. If you can stop your dad from beating off for 1 second, everything will work out.
You know what I
Chelsea,
say?
let's talk about your win. No, let's go right into that. Chelsea, do you think your dad beats off?
I'm sure he does.
Yeah.
Everybody does.
Most smart men do.
Yeah.
Did
Part
you
of the
did you miss this?
ecosystem.
It's getting so personal.
Yeah. Well, I
I
like
never
to
even
start.
thought about that. Thanks for putting me on.
I'm a regular Marks Marin, and this is a very serious podcast about dad jerks
Yeah.
and computer specs. And that's the new name of the show, Dad Jerks and Computer Specs.
Maximum Jerkcast.
Chelsea, let's talk about St. Louis.
Yeah, just
What?
Let's touch on it, Sam. Let's just touch on
let's
it.
touch on St. Louis, Chelsea. What? How was it?
It was good. It was an interesting weekend. A lot of the flow was very different. I mean, normally we're showing up to Long Beach and we're there for a whole week and media day and all that stuff for round one. Even like tech happens over the course of like 2 weeks beforehand because the Cali guys go and get teched and then all that. So when we showed up, we like got in line, and I mean, I think tech was like 20 hours straight of teching cars.
No shit.
Kevin, I feel bad for Kevin on that one because all the Pro and Pro 2 cars had to get teched. So
Yeah. Oh shit.
yeah, it was kind of the start of the weekend was a little bit different, and then no qualifying and limited amount of practice. I don't know that anyone really got their full 12 laps of practice before battles. Maybe. I think I got like 9 or 10, and I was like in the shortest line every time, no matter what. I was going like, 2 laps on tires. Tires are done. Screw it. Get in line again and just run a third lap on done tires just to get another lap. It was kind of a mad dash for sure.
I imagine Team RTR, you and the Vonster. Hopefully, I imagine you guys. Why is that funny?
I don't think I've ever heard that before.
I've created like half the nicknames in FD at
Which
this
one?
point.
That's pretty good. The Vonster.
The
Matches
Vonster.
his, sponsorship with Monster too.
Corey also role plays as Vaughn in GTA 5. He plays as
Yeah.
Vern Baskins, real
Thick-
estate
thick
agent to the
Ricky.
stars.
There you go.
If you guys haven't seen that, I spent a lot of time in there. If you want to see what the fucking world is really like, go check out Corey on Twitch.
Probably a better world.
I don't know. It's kind of wild.
It's kind of weird.
So did you guys show up with like was your car done is what I'm trying to get at? I feel like I joked in this podcast many weeks now that we'd have this event come September and a lot of cars would still be in that oh fuck, my car's not done status. Was your car done?
Was not one of those people. I tested the car in February, and the car sat and did nothing until actually we drove at Freedom Factory again for that show, and then it sat.
You shredded the shit out of that car at Freedom Factory.
Yeah, you did.
I did for sure, that and the demo car, and then it sat until St. Louis. It was ready to go. Really,
looks fucking great, by the way.
thank you, I appreciate it.
It's my favorite
I
of your
finally
logos.
got the gold I wanted. I fought for it for a long time, and we finally got it.
Vaughn was like purple only, no gold. Oh, what's
Well, no, I always wanted the purple as well, but this year I was like gold, and I'm like I want 24 karat reflective gold style, like Dubai gold.
Dubai gold.
And I was like, it's got to be that, or it's not going to look good because gold is such a hard color to have work on a race car. I think.
It is also tough to make it not tacky looking.
Yeah.
When you say Dubai gold, yeah, it's easy to blow it, but yeah, it looked really good.
Yeah, Lindsay kills it with the design stuff, so it worked out really well.
Yeah, Lindsay Ross, the man. So, what do you see tech in? You don't qualify. What? How did that feel for you? We've been like on the fence on the show for since the existence of the show. Like, should we kill qualifying, and if so, how do we do it? How did not qualifying feel, and then how did the replacement?
Well, I feel like I'm a little biased because I usually qualify well, and it's the only 2 laps I get to do at full tilt and no worries of tire conservation or anything going on in front of me or wasting a practice lap or something. So I was bummed that we didn't get to do it. And then I realized when we were there, like, dude, this is awful because I never get to see someone's run when they're trying.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know what people are doing in practice. They're trying different setups. They're trying to mimic what other drivers are doing. They're appeasing the judges. They're figuring it out.
Because at this point, everyone's cars have a kill mode for qualifying. Well, it's one run, maximum grip, maximum speed, and
also on that though, typically what you do in qualifying is the expectation you're going to be sitting for every lead run. that you do.
Exactly. That's
But
kinda what
also,
I was getting at.
but you're not worried about tire conservation, like you said, though, because it's like it is going to be typically, depending on if you want to show your hand necessarily, like it's going to be faster than your actual battle lead setup because you're
I
not concerned about coming back. No, really? I don't know. You
I
tell
think
me.
it's usually faster during battle because in qualifying you're
Yeah.
not concerned about the speed, so you just blow the tire off.
Yeah,
and
I
make
guess
it look
it's-
as gnarly as possible.
Yeah, I shouldn't say faster. Yeah, you're setting it up to.
But I think more aggressive certainly in qualifying.
Yeah, but what I was trying to get at, I guess, was don't give a shit about tires.
Right.
so you-
yeah,
you-
and I
you
mean
throw it
St.
out
Louis
harder.
isn't really a tire track, bad on track or
Yeah.
bad tire track.
What-
But yeah.
But
What is the what is the thing about St. Louis that makes it tough though? Like going too fast and then too slow and then too fast and then too slow?
Yeah, so there's a lot of so obviously we're all driving different cars. We're all driving different, well, not all of us, but a lot of us are on different tires and sizes and all that stuff, and our styles are all different. And when you have a track that has accelerate as fast as you can, and then slow down in the shortest amount of distance, and then accelerate as fast as you can, and then slow
But
down.
like super long too. After that
Right.
inside clip is like the long acceleration from slow speed to just a super long arc. I
Yeah,
feel like that's
yeah,
not
so
a
when you have a
common
track
drift
like
track
that,
move.
you have a lot of discrepancies between cars, a lot of different styles, and you have a track that pretty much bottlenecks everybody down. So
Mhm.
you actually have to let the person get on the gas first and then somehow still stay on their back bumper. So it's
Yeah.
definitely tricky, and there's definitely some strategies that to basically be able to chase the lead car. But if they do something different than what your expectation is, you're screwed.
Yeah.
I want to bring
Yeah.
that up too. Is once again, you mentioned that you didn't have a chance to see anybody's run, which is super interesting because I don't think a lot of people thought about that. But that's where spotters get most of their data.
Yeah.
That is huge, and we can go back to once again the Osbo field battle where so and so hit so and so. Right, field was
Mhm.
Osbo was deemed at fault, therefore he took a loss. When Osbo, it could have worked in Osbo's favor, especially if the rule was you had a hash mark. Do you remember? Obviously, we had a hash mark in the middle of the track. What's a year ago or 2 years ago, and if you cross that center line, then you're deemed at fault. Obviously, that rule's out the window. But if you're able to watch Matt's run in qualifying and set a baseline for it,
Yeah, to know
Then
if
you-
he's coming out that
yeah.
far. I want to try to find the clip to pull it up because we
So
do have that
kinda the
ability to show
deal-
resources.
Yeah, the deal is Matt was doing that all weekend. I drove
Yeah.
with him. I crashed following him once because
yeah,
of
we
it.
saw that.
Second lap out. And but in the rule book, I was in the wrong.
Yeah.
It's been written that way for 2 years. At every drivers meeting, it gets brought up. Matt 100% won that battle because when you're in the lead, you can do whatever you want to have just a 2-move entry. So Manji, the way he was, you can use as much of the track as you want, and the chase driver is supposed to enter at your back bumper and then drive up. Now, it's not a rule that they have to do that, but when you pull alongside of them, you're taking that chance to be able to do that. So,
Fuck, I'm
it
sharing
is.
screen now so
Oh,
we can
sweet.
kind of watch
There you go.
here. But yeah,
Did
I
you
was-
optimize
I got-
Sam and share audio?
I didn't share audio.
yeah.
I don't know if that'll get more
Well,
likely
you gotta
to
optimize
screw
the
us
video.
at the-
So stop screen share real quick, and then.
Stop streaming. Optimize. Okay.
Yeah.
Corey, why don't you fucking do it for yourself, goddamn smart.
We just want to make
It's
sure.
got
we-
that whatever 2080 420 blazer
Okay.
processor.
Share
69.
computer sound. Optimize screen. Okay. Okay.
Yep, there you go.
Okay.
Now
Yeah.
you should be good.
Okay. Okay. Sorry, my dad's been downloading a bunch of porn on my computer.
Corn Hub or
Cornhub. Yeah.
Corn hub.
Paco, you see this screen here?
I can see it, yeah.
Cool. Cool.
It's-
So yeah,
it's
they
not-
don't capture it necessarily on this first take because I have to go back. But I was talking to Turk about it today at RS, and yeah, it's kind of like if he was doing that move all weekend, Osbo was in the wrong place for that. But kind of like you were saying, Chelsea, is that there's strategies for actually staying on the car in front of you, and this is one of them, of course, is try to initiate with them, not behind them, right?
Right, but the judges have said to not do that.
Right.
And if you do that, you're at your own risk.
Yeah. So this
and
is a fair call on your part that Matt gets the win because Osbo was
Unfortunately,
there. Yeah.
it sucks.
Yeah, it
No one
sucks,
wants
yeah.
to see you win or lose by driving down the straightaway.
Yeah, it's like-
the run didn't even start yet. But
I think Matt's an aggressive dude. I don't think he's a shitty dude, though. I don't think he'd necessarily intentionally
No,
bump
no
him
way.
like that. So I think it just is like a shitty location for Osbo to be, and he obviously proved that's a winning car by winning the day before.
Yeah, for sure. I was when I saw it, I was like, oh no, here we go. Fans are
Yeah.
gonna hate this. But the reality of it is like it's just how the rule's written, and it's how we've all been adopting it for the last 2 years.
What's your entry like here? Would you do like on a lead run? Would you do like a Manji Russian flick or Scandinavian flick?
Yeah, I
or
do
how would
one.
you-
It's not quite as big as Matt's,
there it is.
but
That run
there
up
it is.
seems very short.
It's super short.
And because of that short run up too. I imagine that if you're not leaving the line like at the exact second, like if you have 2 car lengths when you initiate, like the run's over, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
It's
you have
also
to be-
worth noting too that Matt's car was broken completely after this. So like
Yeah.
it was undrivable. You can see it like crab walking all over
Yeah,
the
it's-
place.
he came on and
So
talked
it's
to
not
Lorette.
like he bailed or didn't finish the run.
Yeah,
You
he
can see
talked to
his
Lorette
back
and said
wheels
that they had to
folded.
change all those parts shop Max parts back there.
Hey Chelsea,
Yeah.
do you remember? Last I think it was last year or 2 years ago. They used to have some lines dividing, like the initiation, then and then a cone, and after that cone, then you could. It's like free for all. Do you like that better, or do you like it like how it is now?
Well, they had K-rail,
I mean,
too.
I definitely like entering the way Osbo is right
Yeah,
now.
Osbo was definitely so far up. Now that I'm rewatching it now, because I watched it live in the moment. Man, he was like on the mirror,
Almost
not
bumper to
even-
bumper, yeah.
But I think that's the more aggressive and better way to
I agree.
enter. But the problem is you can't do that with everybody. And to be honest with you, if you are doing it and let's say Matt didn't do a Manji or flick entry all day, and then he did it in the run, it still doesn't matter because you're not allowed to be there.
Yeah,
So, like,
exactly.
So anyone could just do it, and
Yeah.
you'd lose. Even though it would be shitty, you could just do it. So I just stopped doing that altogether, and I just set
Stopped
my
in the
car
chase
up.
position to be there. You mean?
Yeah, and I hate it. I love
Yeah.
entering on people's doors. There's
Yeah.
nothing better than
What
that. But
What do you think caused the error? I mean, not trying to make you speak for Frederick, but what do you think was the reason behind the mistake?
he was entering like that all day. Him and Turk, they were always like front tire to back tire in the chase like this. They were pretty much doing that all weekend, and it hadn't bit him in the ass yet, and then unfortunately it did.
yeah.
So I don't know why they were doing it. Their cars were plenty fast. They could have made up the ground on entry, but
What'd you
just
think of-
whatever call they made?
Did you drive against Osbo? I forget.
I did not. I didn't
Well,
even
wait.
get to I might have chased him once in practice. I can't remember.
Yeah. Did you drive against any of the new Supras? I'm curious to hear your impression of how you think those things move and
I
look.
didn't, but I think they're definitely a little bit different. They make more linear grip, not instant grip. So
Mhm.
you got to really kind of leave with them and then stay on them, because if not, they'll kind of pull away from you slowly.
Yeah.
The rear suspension design is kind of tricky in those, so it requires a pretty aggressive setup, which makes the car harder to drive. So, I mean,
Yeah.
it's much different than the trailing arm car that Tarek's driving now that Osbo used to drive.
Yeah. It seemed. I mean, Osbo was able to wheel it pretty goddamn good considering how well he did on day one, and I imagine he would have had a good battle with Matt and maybe gone further
Yeah.
if that wouldn't have happened. So I'm
It's a
actually
new
really
car,
impressed
though,
with
too,
how that
so
car.
you
Yeah,
kinda watch
that's what I'm.
that they're erratic and stuff, and they're trying to figure out what works and what doesn't.
Yeah.
And,
I
they
mean, on
definitely
day
turned
one-
him up, made him quick though.
On day one, Osbo looked so laser locked though. He looked. I don't want to compare him to Dean necessarily, but it was interesting to see just like he would just set angle and then just stay so in it and then set angle. Very much like how I think you're driving is like I feel like I rarely see you doing like micro adjustments. You just fucking pin it and then you're
Yeah, I
like,
think
locked
that's
in
what I
angle.
was saying is
Yeah.
once they get hooked up to keep up with like competition time,
Mhm.
they just get harder to drive because the way you have to hook them up is taking away from the ease of driving it.
Yeah.
It makes it more twitchy and more, of a dynamic drive. Plus, that car is a really short wheelbase. It's a huge car, but I think it
Right.
only has like a 98 or 99 inch wheelbase.
Yeah, I imagine that they've adjusted that as much as they could on that car to try to give it a little more length. So it's like
For
I forget
sure.
if it's the same or shorter than a GT86. It's very.
Yeah, I think it's a little bit longer than a
Okay.
8.6. Maybe not. I'm not 100%.
It's weird seeing them side by side in real life, though, considering you think that the 8.6 is a small car, and then like the last gen Supra was like a big car. But granted, cars have all grown great sizes since then.
I know. Mark IV and a Mark V next to each other look crazy.
Yeah,
It's like, whoa, that's that little toy next to it.
But it's weird seeing like talking about like BMW cars, like seeing my M2 next to like a 3 Series, like an E46. It's like, oh, my car is bigger than an E46, and that's 2 is like the compact BMW these days, but it's bigger than a '90s M3.
Yeah, even the
Didn't
Mustangs
Randan-
have gotten a bit bigger.
Randan
say,
went
like-
against ran against Osbo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was
And against
Randan.
Bushi as well. It's I was gonna say because the Mustang is probably the biggest car there is on Formula Drift right now.
The Supra's wider and bigger almost. I feel like the wheelbase is short, but the car is
The
huge.
car
and-
is just
Yeah,
and
they
then
made
like
that thing wide.
Federico's car was just like
Oh, yeah,
our
that thing was a bust.
Mustangs look tiny.
that's right. And the thing came with 20-inch wheels.
It's just huge. Like our
Yeah.
Mustang looked like a S13 out there, like in size.
I'm bummed not seeing him out here. I'm on
Me
the
too.
topic though. I was pumped to see. He did mess up later, but Joao's first day's runs, I was like super pumped to see that guy doing well.
Yeah, he was ripping. Drift HQ dudes really hooked that car up and got it.
Yeah, the
going
car
pretty
is
good
not a
this
stock
year.
Corvette anymore.
Yeah, it seemed like a completely different car. So
Joao
they
is
changed the
over
track
Brazil.
around the last compared to last year. Still, I think not the best track, as I think every driver was happy to say to Lorette when they talked to her, saying like, yeah, I think even you, Chelsea, like maybe smile at some point, saying like, it's not really a track made for these cars, or someone to that extent. Was kind of saying like, or maybe it was even Vaughn saying like, I like the other St. Louis over there better because you could actually go
Yeah.
fast, and like this track just feels kind of. I forget who it was, but they said like kind of like beneath these cars, like it was. Not,
Yeah, I don't want to down it when I say that, but yeah, it's a lot of like it's a tight technical track with a lot of spots to get pinched off, and the cars that we're driving are tight, hooked up, and nobody wants to lose because someone went faster than them. So everyone just keeps going like this all weekend, and the track is just. I mean, I felt like I'm trying to drive my FD car at Park. Like,
yeah.
I'm not saying that Park isn't a phenomenal track. It's like one of my favorites, but like
But
there's
the
cars
car
that are for
wasn't-
it and cars
yeah.
that aren't.
And
So-
those cars that are for it were built with 2 gears, and don't need to.
well, everybody like even watching the stream, even talking to a lot of people, just everybody watches it and says, "Man, this thing just doesn't flow. It doesn't seem like it flows." Does it feel like that in the driver's seat?
It does
too?
not flow whatsoever. And you can like once you feel like, oh man, I didn't have to clutch kick 14 times and pull the handbrake 70 times. You're like, oh, it does flow. And then you're like, I'm still doing so much work. Why?
Mhm.
It doesn't flow at all,
Well, coming out of that inner clip down that long straightaway,
And that's the big part.
how much work is it? Like, what are you doing in your car to get to that inner clip to that outer zone?
Yeah, so for me, it's all the setup going out of outer 1 and going into inner 2, or outer 2. So I kind of like use outer 2, fill it, and then I go all the way to the tire wall to keep as much movement as I can in the car, and I give myself as much time on throttle before I pass the inner clip. That way, it's just as smooth as possible. But still, it's like I'm driving a 1,000 horsepower car with a huge V8 in it, and I'm still clutch kicking it. I couldn't imagine like driving a turbo car through all of that.
Paco, I'm doing some
what would you
Chelsea
say your
runs here.
speed is and gear is going into the inner clip, and then what's your speed at the end of that outer zone?
The speed at inner clip 1 was like 28 or 30 miles an hour, I think, and then the speed at the end of going into outer 4 was like 72 or 74.
Dude, so you're
I
doing
think.
like a 50, 60 mile an hour pull out of a 20 mile an hour zone.
Yeah, I mean, in the chase it's slower because you're like on the inside
Yeah.
waiting for them,
So there's your big flick
Blasting that clip.
Yeah, that was the first one I
Yeah.
did all weekend, dude. Odie pushed
So many
me.
clips got murdered here. That inside clip there got murdered
See,
9
right
times out
there,
of 10.
dude.
I
Look
feel
how
like.
long. Why is not the entry that long?
I know.
Yeah.
I know. What's funny
So,
is like that's the kind of technicality it is. Like I got just barely tapped on entry by Odie, and like not even enough
Yeah.
for me to be like, oh, it's gonna mess me up, and it pushed me out, and I'd almost dropped a tire. Like it moved me 2 feet from a bump that like a person like hitting my car with their hand would have done. It's like
Yeah.
Right.
everything's so technical at this track.
It's wild too that everyone hit that inner clip, and then on that run with Odie, like at first I saw it and I was like, oh, did Odie whiff it on the very end there because he ate the clip and it got into like some steering component? But no, it looks like he
I
just
think he
whiffed it
just
because
got
of smoke.
smoked out.
Because that's the other part about that area is that if you're not on the mirror, like let's say you're on the rear bumper, like
You're
you can't see shit. I
screwed.
think
I
Vaughn
know.
ate it like that. Like
Well,
so,
and you
so that's
can't
such a hard
see
course.
any markers or anything. So you're really just relying on what the front car, the lead car does. And then
Yeah.
as the lead car, I'm like looking for anything to get into that turn because the references are not very good. You know, Saturday
Yeah.
we had nothing, and then Sunday we had quite a few references, which helped. But
And does sunlight play a big issue too? Because it's like when the sun is setting and still above the grandstands, like you're staring right into it during that section. Does it
it
help?
didn't
Hurt?
affect
Yeah.
it this time. I remember last year it being more difficult, but I think this year it was fine. Maybe just the time of year.
Is Odie's car fast as shit? Because he looks fast as shit.
He looks
It's
the
fast.
fastest.
What's weird is
yeah.
like he's like pedaling the throttle the whole lap.
Yeah.
I'm chasing him and I'm just like watching him pedal it, and I'm like, I am floored. Like, how are
Yeah.
you pedaling it right now?
Yeah, you're saying by pedaling it, he's modulating. And
Throttle,
like,
yeah, a
yeah.
bunch. And I mean, maybe it's just his power band and what he's got going on with it, but I mean, his car's definitely quick. It's you know,
Yeah.
one of the top 5 speed cars.
What
Yeah.
size tire are you running on the Mustang?
315, 40, 18 in the rear, and a 275, 35, 18 in the front. They're Nitto NTO5s and in Nitto 555 in the front,
So-
in the rear.
Real quick,
But-
Paco, on the video, or I guess, can I scroll up at all?
I was
I
gonna
don't know,
say,
I'm
and
just
also go wide. You know the little wide view.
Yeah. Well, this is the wide view, I think.
No, the
Nope,
wide
we
view.
go.
There you go.
Boom.
Sam,
Boom.
just saying,
Sorry.
Look at
drag, our,
that.
drag our video in frame too, by the way, so we can
Shut
see
the
it.
fuck up.
Sam, suck my ass.
Oh, there you go. You got the beep.
So I was gonna ask you. So if you're running a 315, you're in like the 3,000 pound range, 3,100 pounds ish.
Yeah, we got away 3,000 after 2 laps. So
And
Yeah.
I wonder what size Odie is running. Odie might be running a
he's a 295, 40.
295. So he was what 2,900 pounds. So he's
29, yeah, I think so. Like
Chelsea's
we're in a
spilling the
310
beans.
class because our 315 measures a little small. I think he's in the 300 class.
Who's got the widest tire? Kearney?
No, I think
315
we
is
have the
not.
widest tire, all the Nitto guys.
But the heaviest
Yeah.
weight. Do you prefer big heavy boat, wide tire, or light car, small tire?
If I was building a car, it would be in the 245 class.
Fox body,
Is there a reason
Fox
you
body
like a
Mustang.
315 then?
I don't think we can get the Mustangs down that far. We've done an incredible job of taking weight out of them, but there's just only so much legally you can take out. So we're kind of where we are. But yeah, I think that to me, like a 245 car that was 2,500 with a driver would only need like 700 horsepower to be competitive. So you could just have a simple motor that, and the drivetrain and the diff and the transmissions, all that stuff takes way less abuse because you're on a smaller tire and you're moving less weight. So to me, your power kind of goes hand in hand with what the car has to weigh, you know?
Yeah. I want to see someone do that min-max build where it's like, I'm going to do the lightest car and I'll run 205s. Fuck it.
I mean, I
And
pretty much
just,
did
like,
that. I went from a
Yeah.
2,545 pound car, the BMW, to the Mustang, which was 3,100.
Would you like if let's say Ford came up and told you like, we want you to be full-time Ford driver, no more BMW nonsense? Would you build a Fox body with a Cobra independent rear suspension? Because that car is
Driven
live.
Vaughn's, that's how his is set up.
Oh,
It's
there you
pretty
go.
good.
Dude,
Yeah, it's a
those
good
cars
car.
are bangers, man. Like fun.
They're way underestimated. They're really good.
Do you think Formula Drift should like lift a little bit of the restrictions on like subframe swapping?
I don't know. I think it could just get crazy.
At
Here's
least for
like
Pro 2, let's say at
easy
least for Pro 2.
example. I feel like the easy example is the Osbo and Turk car.
Yeah.
You know, they have a trailing arm car that's literally, the trailing arm is the ultimate, I think. And then you have you know, the ability to modify that openly given, you know, the FD rulebook, and that car is always flat, always fast, always looks good on track, you know. So if everybody was allowed to swap out subframes, it would just become this whole like over engineering madness, I feel like.
Yeah. And everybody's already bitching about how much it costs now. Imagine if it was just an unlimited
dude.
free for all.
I know.
Good
Yeah.
luck.
Also, it kind of kills like the style of the car. I think everybody would build like the same type of stuff.
I totally
Yeah.
agree.
But
with
do you think that would bring somehow a more level play field if everybody could just do that?
I don't know.
Because like imagine
know.
if you were allowed to put a trailing arm suspension.
Paco,
On
an
your-
S15 has won the championship the
Yeah,
past 3
I know.
years.
Well,
Like,
yeah, but it's also driven
You
by
know
a
what I mean?
robot.
it doesn't matter. Like, all these guys that you're watching on screen in Formula Drift are robots at this point.
Well,
There's
true.
no robots there's everybody's a robot in FD right now. Currently.
Paco, should I minimize screen size here so you can see our faces or no?
Yes.
No, you're good.
You're-
I'm good. Like, look,
Okay.
boom.
So
you have to show my bad, Chase.
Yeah, so hold on.
no, I want to talk about the run because I see like Forsberg and Chelsea. I'm like, oh fuck, here we go.
Oh god
And-
damn
but-
it, Sam.
But then we watch it and I was like, that was a fucking good battle. And
It was.
I'm not sure Forsberg's car looks better than it's ever looked out there.
You're telling me his car
Yeah.
was ripping.
Yeah. And then you guys go one more time, which he seemed upset about online. And I think
Yeah.
the first time I watched it, I'm like, oh fuck, Chelsea's out. That's a Forsberg win. And then you went one more time, and it's like, yeah, I can see that, I guess. And then you went into the one more time and then took it. What how do you feel about these battles?
So I had a 2 tires off at outer zone 4 in my lead run. So that was a huge disadvantage. I think he made some mistakes too. He was in the
Yeah,
first run.
yeah,
I think
Definitely.
in the chase he got the clip. I did too. I don't know.
The judges
mean-
just not even count that clip by the end of it because everyone fucking hit that clip.
I was thinking they did, and then like they didn't count the 2 tires off in the last turn as much as I felt like it should have. So the deal was, I was like, oof, I'm at a huge disadvantage. I told my crew, I'm like, yo, I'm about to put the lead run of a lifetime down, so just get ready for that. And
Yeah.
I did.
Which
I
I'm
put
sure
down
when
a
you
lead
say
run.
that to them, they must be terrified at
Ray's
this point when you say
scared.
that shit.
Nah, they're good.
Yeah.
They get it. They know
Yeah.
like that I'm doing it for everybody, not just myself to put a run down like that. So like this lead run here, which I was just like, I like literally didn't let off the gas the whole lap outside of when I touched the brakes at outer zone 2.
Yeah.
And I think the judges saw the lead run as a pretty strategic advantage, like
Right.
because a good lead run of this track means the chase driver can do a better job.
Right.
So that
As
was
I
kind
think
of,
most tracks, right?
this one's so hard. Like for someone that if they chop any of the lines, it's 100% screws you everywhere.
I see that.
Yeah.
So like other tracks, you can kind of get away with it, but here, like if someone's chops at all, like even if they did it not on purpose, it totally screws
You can't
you.
run a shallow
Yeah.
line.
Well,
Yeah.
that's I think probably why the judges went one more time in this because where you whiffed a little bit on your lead run or your
Yeah,
chase
this
run,
is
you
why the
fucking
one
nailed
more
this,
time happened.
and then Forsberg whiffed it a little bit on that inner clip too.
right.
So
and,
he dives. Oh wait, this is the one more
this
time.
is second run. This is the one more time. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, my bad. Yeah, where's that?
But yeah, either way, I mean, like we were saying, it was like he made a couple mistakes, I made a couple mistakes, and I think my lead run had a pretty big advantage over his, and that's why they did it one more time again. I certainly did not win the first battle by any means. I was like, man, I hope that they saw what I felt and they take into consideration this stuff, and I get it one more time. And if they don't, hey, it kind of is what it is at that point.
Yeah, I don't think it was anything majorly controversial there. But I'm just curious to hear it from the Chelsea's mouth, because it's so hard to choose battles on this too. And it's like when it's if it's like in my mind too, as a drift dude, like obviously you guys as drivers, you don't want a one more time when you think you won. But it's like
Of
also
course,
from the fans' perspective, and I'm not just like quote unquote any fan. Like I live and eat and drink and sleep the shit, and it's like I'm not
You're a
really sure
stupid
who
fan,
won.
Sam.
What's that?
You're a stupid nerdy fan.
I'm a stupid nerd boy
I
fan.
mean, he's got like
I'm a
100 more
fuckboy
horsepower
nerd
than me,
fan.
so of course he's
Fanboy.
faster.
Because everyone knows those are
Dude,
dyno numbers.
why don't you bump up next round? Make your 1600 horsepower. Why don't you just keep bumping it up 100 per?
I mean, my car doesn't even make 1100. I bet you Chris's car has
You
more
should just
power
flex
than
it,
mine.
dude. Go for
What I was
flex.
getting at
Full
though is
flex.
if I'm not really sure who won necessarily watching these right after seeing it, like just gut reaction without watching replays, like I kind of want to see it one more time. Like let's fucking send you guys. Let's send you guys so
Yeah.
your cars explode. Is my kind of insider fan.
Come on, you only got one more day of racing. Yeah, blow
So I
him up.
think the positioning in my chase was a lot better than his, but he had better proximity, right? So I think there's a combination of those two things that kind of helped me as well.
And we're picking such minor things too, and it's like the car length in those moments where it's like a half second of track time max, and you guys are pulling and pushing there. It's so tough to say. Yeah, I wasn't trying to like scrutinize these runs heavily. I was just pulling up runs that I knew you were driving without panning through all these videos.
I think these
and
were
I was
the
like, oh, yeah,
runs of
that's
the
one.
night. I mean, I was like, when I watched him back, I was like, damn, this is sweet. Like, and also this battle was like, hey, if you win this battle, like the rest of the night, you just need to stay focused and win. Like, this is the one that
always
gets you
the
in the
truth,
mood
though?
to take it over. And this was top 16. It
Yeah.
was like, yo, if you beat
Yeah.
him, like, there's no reason why. Because his car was the fastest car at the track that
Yeah,
weekend.
he was
I was like,
ripping.
oh, I'm like, what is he even doing? I remember watching videos of him like, how that is, look at it. Like, I'm just getting rolled right here. You know, like,
Yeah, well, that was the fat car like 2 years ago, and now suddenly it's moving like this. Look at you, fucking taking out all
I
those at her.
said I was one tire, maybe two off there. It was
Yeah.
definitely, it was
Yeah.
definitely a hairy battle.
Well, I also want to ask this. Obviously, you and Forsberg have this rivalry that started in Seattle, right? Do you guys still have that all? Like, do you feel like, oh fuck, I'm going against Forsberg, I'm gonna have to just beat him up a little bit, or is it like,
I've never like, once it's time to go, it's time to go. Like, it doesn't
Right.
matter who I'm battling, whether I love them or, you know, wouldn't
because like
spend the night
spectator
hanging out
wise
with
for
them.
us, it's like, oh damn,
I
DeNofa's
know.
going against Force. Oh boy, what the dude? DeNofa's gonna bring out his boxing gloves, dude. He's gonna fucking. Because even this track last year, right, with Forsberg, Vaughn hit him and you
Right.
hit him, and it was like turned into this big bully fest, which it is what it is, but it's just like people were like that
Look,
suspense of.
it's really like the nothing personal thing.
Right.
Like, everything's fine. I disagreed with his driving for a little while. I publicly made that a thing.
Yeah.
So
Let's get to some super chats. If you guys are watching live, super chat is open, and you can guarantee your question will be read for Chelsea, for us, for whatever. Could just be some dad jacks. Joe the drummer says, "Yo, Chelsea, will Vaughn let?" So he's from New York, I can tell. "Yo, Chelsea, will Vaughn let you rip the Marquis 1400?" Because that's how New York's talking.
Yeah.
yeah, I think so. We've talked about it. The last time we
didn't
were
get-
around it, I didn't have time or really couldn't
Yeah.
get a chance to drive it. But yeah, it would be cool to drive. I'm really big
You didn't
on
drive
the-
it at all during the shoot. He let Ken Blocks drive it, but not you,
I
Chelsea.
might have like moved it around a little bit, but I didn't get to shit whip it at all or anything. Also, it's probably a good thing I didn't drive it until that video is done, because who knows what I would have done with it.
Yeah, that's true. We haven't gotten to talk about that video. I'm trying to think if there's something
We did
cool
talk about
that.
it.
No, with Chelsea.
But not
Oh,
with
not
Chelsea.
Yeah, I'm
sure.
trying to think. Is there something
Well,
I'm
let's
forgetting?
let's save that.
Let's
save
get to that for the end, because
Yeah,
like
no,
I
no,
think
no.
I got a
'cause
bunch of drifting stuff.
Yeah, me too. I just trying to think about it now. If there's something really, like what awful behavior Chelsea exhibited that I really have to show off for everyone right now.
In the
First of all,
video?
real fucking no, just in general, just real prima donna on set, just really upset all the
Need
time.
Need waters,
asking-
probably sleeping in the van, AC.
vitamin waters. Well,
Yep.
he brought his own
one of our PAs tried to
hairstylist.
bring him
monsters.
one of our PAs tried to bring him a non-sparkling monster.
Oh, and he
He's
got
like,
pissed.
I want bubbles. Don't give me that still
fizz.
monster.
I
Give
don't
me
think
fizz
it goes like
monster."
that at all.
And they
I'm pretty
fucking
sure I'm the
smashed it.
one
We
making
need
fun
the
of people
attitude
like
of
that.
BMW Chelsea back where he's F everybody,
Yeah.
blows his car up on track,
Well,
spits
then
in
the
I
it.
weird
mean,
part is-
that's how last
shit.
weekend was. Did you follow my Instagram?
The weird part is he smashed the can on Vaughn's face, and then Vaughn started crying, and Chelsea's like, "You better run!" And Vaughn's like, "Well, I don't want to run." And he's like, "Run!" And he threw another can at Vaughn. So
That's
it's
messed
weird how
up.
much you've dominated that team now.
He turned into a
Yeah.
monster.
A monster. Yeah.
The monster.
Worst
Yeah.
part is that you came to Arizona and you weren't nice enough to tell Corey and I, hey guys, you want to
Well,
come
we were
hang
kind of
out?
working on some
Yeah.
special projects.
No,
stuff.
no.
And
Secret
also,
boyfriends.
it was during like the big hype of beginning of COVID, so
Yeah.
we weren't really allowed to be hanging out with other people.
It was at the
During
cool
the
point
shoot.
where people were upset when I told them not to get on my elevator, which they still do kind of. But that was fun for me. That I got to do it for the first time there, where it's like I'm on the elevator and then
Also,
like,
it was like the Wild West there when we were there.
oh fuck yeah. Overtime picture says, "Is it worth the trip from Va to Irwindale for FD if I'm shooting from spectator areas? I'm trying to go to one event this year, Virginia to California. That's a big trip, my man's. One, if Dad Sage said that he is not sure California will allow spectators, so make sure of that first.
Yeah.
If they do allow spectators, Irwindale is a sight to see, and this year it'll be especially crazy seeing back-to-back events, which I do
I
want
don't
to
know
get
how the cars are going to make it 2
Yeah.
rounds there.
I do want to get into with the back-to-backs topic with you, Chelsea, in a minute. But so you want to shoot some stuff out there over time? If it's an open event, definitely get out there. If you need help
I
getting
think
over
so.
there, message one of us and you take cool photos because we can help. We still help out media guys whenever we can. So if it's an open event and you take some DSO photos, or you want to get better, or who knows, we'll see. But yeah, I say, and Chelsea says, and everyone says it's one of the best events. What is Chelsea? This is from Marcus Amos. What? And he's Irish, clearly. What is Chelsea going? This is a bad Irish accent. Should I
Keep
try
going,
it? Should I
keep going, keep going. Yes,
Go
yes,
for
yes,
it.
What is Chelsea doing with the Pro E46? And congrats on the win from a Northwest BMW Drift douche. No, I went Italian. I don't know.
Yeah,
where
it
I
was
went
good
with that.
until the end. It was actually
Yeah.
good. I was impressed.
Yeah, I started questioning myself.
The Pro E46 is in the shop. I see it every day. I actually just got a motor for it, so hopefully we'll be able to have that out and do something with it. Or it will at least move in and out of my shop under its own power.
Big plans, big plans.
I know.
That's
The
my
thing
goal.
is like even for me just to get that back running and driving would cost me like 10 grand, and I just don't see the investment at this point really making sense.
Yeah.
So it just hangs out and sits there, and I won't ever really sell it or anything, so it'll be around.
Yeah, it'll be that old project. Global Media says congratulations, DeNofa. Hit that like button. So Chelsea, hit the like button, please.
I didn't know there was a like button.
Yeah, hit the like button.
Do you got Andy
It slit.
It's Andy
Says-
Slits.
We do. Who do we have to bribe in FD to get subframe cage tie-ins allowed in E36 and E46?
I don't know, man. I've literally brought knee pads and asked Kevin, and he didn't let it happen. So,
What do you mean brought knee pads?
you know.
Explain the
So you
joke.
can look at the car from the bottom.
Yeah, that's, you
Ah.
mean so you can get on your knees
Yes.
and check out the
Yeah.
car.
So you can
show-
get on your knees and look at the subframe.
Ah.
Check out
Ah.
the
See, it's
subframe.
showing
Yeah.
respect, Sam. Come on. ding
Oh,
dong.
okay. And then-
I think, I don't know. I think there's a disconnect there that kind of sucks. But I mean, to me, it's one of those things where that car has a pretty decent advantage in FD, so there has to be some shortcoming.
Yeah.
What sucks is like if you drop a tire at full lock and smash the wheel really bad, and you could total a car out and have to build a whole nother car mid-season just because of that. So it is a downfall of that. But I just tell everybody, I'm like, look, tie it in, get it done, and then when it's time to drive FD, you can cut it. And that's just kind of what it is.
I wish I had the vaguest idea of what you're talking about.
The subframes, like you shift the car and clutch kick it, and all the wheels and diff and subframe just fall out of
Pretty
it.
much BMW's best car ever.
Yeah.
Its weakest point is the mounts for the subframe. It literally starts breaking around the mounting points.
And you're not
So-
allowed to connect it with extra
You're allowed
means.
to add a reinforcement
allowed to
plate
enforce
that
it.
is of spec for BMW. Like it has
Mhm.
to be like a certain one. And it's just a plate that goes on the bottom. You're not allowed to do anything from the top. And it helps, but it doesn't stop the problem, especially with our sport continuously hammering bigger tires and more grip and more power.
But we're seeing, and especially I saw in Pro 2, like so many cars are BMWs now, as we all predicted, with the S chassis becoming less viable and harder to come by, that people are heavily moving into BMWs. So it should be something that should be
My
addressed.
bad.
Yeah.
I screwed myself. I drove the price up for the cars that I
Yeah, right.
use all
How-
the time. But I think the
what-
Mustangs, the older Mustangs, are coming up big time. Too,
Oh, for sure.
so that's
What
kinda-
are the possible advantages to this tie-in that K Wells would not want to? make them
he's
legal?
really big on like chassis stiffness, like to the point of we used to be able to like weld the door bars to the sill on the car, like the rocker, which is like a safety thing, like for the stiffness that it gives you, which is definitely a lot, but like it's the big thing of like getting smashed in the side and having the unibody tied to the cage where the door impact is. So he made us all cut those out too, so we can't have that. And he's just like, I have to draw the line somewhere, otherwise everyone's just gonna stiffen everything ever. But the problem is like, I can't modify the subframe. Okay, so you just put the fuel cell on top of it and tie all the fuel cell caging into the subframe,
Yeah.
and then put the fuel cell. Like, there's so many ways around it. that are open
Kevin's
to
gonna make that so
interpretation.
illegal now, you piece of shit.
I don't know anybody that's done that. I'm just saying,
Okay.
like, in general, it's like one of those things where, yes, there's a rule book, and but there's, depending on what you're doing, it's like the battery rule. There's 2 batteries you're allowed to run, but like, dude, yeah, but doesn't count as ballast. Like, there's some heavy batteries in existence.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh,
Dude, I opened up the trunk on my new car, and the battery
Oh.
is like a boat battery. It's like 4
120
batteries
pounds.
long. It's
Well,
wow.
yeah.
Welcome
It's
to
'cause it has to shut off at
BMW.
lights.
Yeah, I turned that off immediately and have not looked back.
Oh, don't tell California that.
Fuck California. Just
You
'cause
heard-
I like California.
You heard the joke that BMW drivers actually do use their turn signals, but the light bulbs emit a kind of light that only poor people can't see. You heard that one?
That's rude.
That's very rude.
that's fucked up.
That's
Punk.
rude.
I just,
Okay.
it was
think
a meme.
people just
it was,
don't use
it. Was a
it.
meme. Yeah,
I
okay.
use them. I'm very hyper conscious of using my turn
Paco, I
signals.
thought the tail light joke only worked on Aztecs.
Yeah, Aztec drivers are noticeable for
The
being
thing is
extreme
all of us
assholes.
don't recognize how expensive those
Yeah.
tail lights
Yeah.
are.
All right, let's go through a couple more super chats.
A
and then
lot
we'll
of
get back
super
to the
chats, by
drift
the way.
talk. We gotta talk about Dennis. Dennis
Dennis.
Lomanako here at the wild super chat. He's very happy that you won, Chelsea. He just says, "Congrats on the win, Chelsea." Can you thank Dennis Lomanako?
Thank you, Dennis.
What a
Thank,
nice.
thank him.
Say his full
Bottom
name,
heart.
Lomonaco.
Because if you wouldn't have won,
I think I was
Dennis.
talking to him earlier today. I think
Oh.
he's
no
one
shit.
of the NOLA Drift dudes.
Thanks, Dennis. Thanks, Chelsea. Danny, Ray, do you have any advice or tips to help the terrible electric steering in my 2013 Mustang GT? Doesn't self-steer at all and feels dead.
Not say it's terrible. There are ways around it. It's definitely different. So if you come from driving like an S chassis or something with a lot of caster or a lot of caster action, then yeah, it's different. There's a couple companies that make steering controllers for it. I can't think of the one now, but JTP runs it, and a couple other dudes do as well that make it better. Also, the steering geometry itself can be modified to make it better, but that's a whole nother long
Is it an
story.
electronic drift electronic steering column?
No, it's a electric rack itself.
Okay, yeah.
not a
So
column.
there's like an adjustment that makes it more responsive, right?
there's a plug-in tuner for it.
Got
So
it.
there's not like a factory adjustment, and that's supposed to make it a lot better. Also, I know that you can go and get like different Mustang programs put in it, like a GT 500 program or 350 program to make it steer differently. But the best setting to just set it up with is to just use comfort and drive it that way. That's how we drive all of our demo cars. The other option is
Why is that, out of curiosity?
Comfort just has a really linear steering feel like throughout it. It's not
yeah.
like trying to give you feedback or anything, so it
Whereas
actually will self-steer a little bit
it-
more.
Tightens up when you're on like aggressive mode because it's trying to give you the.
Yeah, so you got to do like the Arnie Palmer when you're drifting it.
Yeah.
This little guy. But we should have a steering kit, little hint, coming out soon that we're doing some development with that will help with that as well.
You started mentioning the other option before I rudely interrupted.
What was the other option?
You said that driving comfort, and the other option was.
Oh, that was my other option.
Oh,
was
the
to just wait because
wink,
maybe we're
wink.
gonna have something soon.
What are you? Well, your eyes twitching a lot. What is that? Are you stroking out, dude? You cool?
Might be kind of onion.
Might be cutting
Winky,
onion.
winky.
Sup, I'm Max says, Chelsea, was it you in the bushes who leaked the Mach E video?
I was not within 3,000 miles of that shoot when it happened.
So you were within 3,000 miles of the shoot.
I'd have a really big lens to make that
Yeah.
happen.
Big Lens Chelsea. That's what they used to call you back
That's
in high
what she
school.
said.
Oh, we have light again.
Mike Jessup says, is Chelsea doing Drift Week dose?
I wish, but actually they just changed a bunch of the stats on it and where it's going to be and the whole schedule. So maybe actually.
Well, we have to clarify. Like you did Drift Week because you were driving a truck and trailer in an RV, so you were like glamping.
If you want to get the real story,
Glam Drift
what
Week.
happened was
Right.
I was already at your event in Phoenix that I was driving. What was it called?
Mehan.
Desert
Mahan.
Mahan.
Desert Mehan.
And then I went to Texas and visited my family, and then went to Drift Week. So I already had the rig there. And at the first round, somebody blew their Corvette up. So my truck and trailer got used to tow the Corvette the entire way to LA, and my TI drove every mile of it.
Hell yeah.
I mean, I didn't because I had to fly to an event and drive another event and work a little bit. But yeah, my TI did like 3,200 miles or something of that trip. So.
And you have an M3 engine in it. What's it called?
It's a S54.
S54.
So it's an E46 M3.
That is like the dream. That's a dream BMW car. The lightest E36, the TI with the best engine.
It's a pretty good one. I think the S65 V8 would have been a little bit better, but
Ooh.
this is a fun motor too.
Is it
I like
heavier?
it. The car is pretty heavy though because it's full interior, full cage, full everything.
Air
I think
conditioning?
It was 2980 with me in it. Yeah, full HVAC,
What?
everything.
Dude, that's pimp.
I drive it on the street all the time.
Hell
It's
yeah.
a good car.
That's badass.
Yeah.
Nice.
Then this is a really good question from Brian Onofre. RTR is one of my biggest teams. It's one of the biggest teams. Engines are unlimited. What's stopping you from getting more HP and being the fastest car out there?
HP means hit points.
So I think we make pretty good power now.
Well, why aren't you blowing them up every
yeah,
round?
No, well, that's why. Well, it's because we're not making all the power. It makes like 720 or 730 without the nitrous, and then about 1,000 at the tire with the nitrous. So it's got quite a bit of nitrous in it, and Ray kills it on the adjustments of everything, gives us all the power we need, but we haven't really needed more than, let's say about 1,000 wheel.
Is it nitrous on demand, or like you activate it sometimes and sometimes you don't, or how does it work?
We pretty much need it at every FD round, but it's all tied into the TPS and like RPM and load of the engine and whatnot. So it's super smooth and linear. It just makes it feel like a bigger engine.
So is it like a progressive shot?
Yep.
That's badass.
Dude, it's amazing.
That's
the
Ray, right?
Control and how the car drives. It's like driving like a.
Oh, hold on. That was perfect timing.
It was.
It was like driving like a woo. Oh, there he is. Woo.
Oh, shout out
She's
to
just saying
Ray.
hi.
He can make that kind of stuff happen.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like driving a 700 cubic inch big block, but it fits in a package this big.
That was pretty cool when you were lining up at the starting line. You were purging the nitrous.
You're
like,
purging
okay,
the nitrous.
purging the like.
You're purging the nitrous.
I could
It sounds
imagine.
way fancier when you say it. Like
Yeah.
I could
I'm gonna
imagine
have
like
the sticker changed to purge.
I could imagine like the camera like just closing up into your eyes and like, all right, Chelsea, you got this. You gotta show this. You gotta show this chump who's boss. And then Freddy Kass was looking next, like, oh my god, he's got nitrous. Impossible.
Why is he purging at me so hard?
Yep.
Purging.
And then Osbo looks back at Chelsea, and Chelsea's wearing like a skull cap and little goggles and fingerless leather gloves.
And then you do the run, and then Jared's like, that run was the prettiest.
Yeah. It was.
Not
Exotic-
not
it was
not the
exotic
prettiest.
purging.
That's the last super chat we're gonna do for now. You guys can still put them up, and we'll get to them after our next little round of Drift Talk. I do want to get one more question in there from Lindrill Novotny. Says, why is Princess Ray obsessed with your butt?
That's a great question.
That's a good question.
Well, if you follow her, you would understand this. Some people may not, but I don't know. She just loves posting the little heart emoji things of my butt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She says she loves my butt.
Well, we love it too. So
Can she believe the shit you do with that thing?
I don't know. She probably could.
That was for me.
That was from Sam.
Sam
Chelsea-
said, "Do you believe the shit I do with that thing?"
Come on, man. Why you gotta blow me up like that?
She
You gotta
dad
do it.
joke laughed hard, dude.
Good. That's what I want.
So
She did knee slapper.
Corey, hit it
No.
with us.
I was gonna ask you on Saturday. You seemed pretty pissed off in an interview.
Mm.
You seemed like you were like, "Fuck this! I'm gonna drive the way I want to drive. I'm
Ooh.
over this. I'm not gonna do what other people are doing and not do what I do." What caused that, and what was the meaning behind it?
So in the off season, it's like one of those things where you kind of reflect on what happened last year, what mistakes you made, what things were good, what things were bad. And I just was like, man, I feel like I don't match what other people are doing, right? And I kind of started getting into the process of like watching what other people were doing driving and not necessarily being like, oh, I'm going to change my style or whatever the case might be, but just kind of like, okay, like I now feel like I know how each person drives enough that it gives me a better chance to chase them. Right. It's just like doing homework. Most drivers do it. So I got out there and I'm like, man, like I don't need to be driving like as hard as I drive. It doesn't gain anything for me. Like I overdrive all the time.
Right.
And I do make mistakes because of it. Like if you're driving 100% all the time, I mean, there's certainly going to be little things
you
here
are
and
your
there.
biggest enemy. Like when we see you get to the finals, it's like Odie's not going to beat Chelsea. Chelsea's going to beat Chelsea if it comes down to it. Like,
Right.
That's what it was. And you could see that later as it gets into the event that it's more so we're hoping that Chelsea doesn't beat Chelsea. Because once you make it to 8, it's like it's yours if you don't fuck up. Like that's what happens. When DeNofa gets 8, Chelsea wins.
After
my
3
whole
years of
thing-
us telling you this on the podcast, you drive too fucking hard. You finally have figured it out for yourself.
Well, I did, and it was awful. That's not what I need to do. So what everybody was telling me and my process that I believed in would win me a championship at round 1 and during practice on Thursday was bullshit. I was like, I suck at driving 75%. Like I just am not good at it. Or I don't have the balance to be able to drive that way. Like I need to be driving on the edge so that I'm happy and can be a better driver. So
look at you.
Did you get that feeling being at the event where you're just like, okay, I'm done. Like
I did. I had an epiphany. I was like, what? Because I was analyzing what everybody was doing. I'm like, what are these people doing? Like they're super late getting on the throttle. And I'm like, you know what? It's probably just the fact that everybody's coming back. COVID thing, double header, saving the car. And it was true because like at the end of the day on Saturday and Sunday, everybody started driving harder
Oh yeah.
and everybody was killing it. And I'm not saying they weren't before. It just, everybody kind of warmed up to it. And like, I showed up ready to put a hole in the sky. Like I was like, I'm winning this practice. I'm winning this battle that doesn't mean anything. I'm winning everything. Like that was my process because I had felt like I did all my homework in the off season. But the reality of it is like, my theory is if you're really, really good at driving 95%, right? 95% becomes 85%. And then you need to push yourself to get 95 again. So to me, like I have to drive hard enough to give myself some feedback and progress and make some mistakes to find things out rather than go into battle with like just driving soft all the time.
Wait,
so that's what I did on Sunday, and it worked.
Do you rather
that,
drive
though.
hard than soft?
Yeah, I mean, like me drive. Like, here's the deal: I show up at the track, I teach a student, and all day I haven't been in the car, and then I take them for a ride along at the school of drift, and in that ride along, I put a hole in the sky. I drive a 140-point run, like for no reason. I don't need to. The person's gonna be stoked just to link the track with me, and I'm like, no, I'm gonna back it in every turn. Full throttle the whole lap, and like, oh hey, I'm at Desert Mahon. Like every lap, I'm backing it in. I'm blowing the tires off. I'm driving like why? If I do that all the time, that's just how I drive. It's not like I push too hard.
I could see that the act of trying to drive 95% is like more taxing and less good than you trying to drive at 105% or holes in the sky driving because you're so focused on that like you're out of your zone. So
well, yeah, or I'm so focused at trying to balance what 85% is that I'm like blowing it, and it's erratic and not good. So I just got to drive the way I want. And then in the chase, I'm sure you could see everybody watched the battles. Like I just exerted a little bit more patience than I normally do. I still drove hard as hell, but in the chases, I just had a little bit more patience than I normally do.
The verbatim, the nomenclature of telling you to like ease off of it was wrong. It's more like what you just said. How did you phrase it? Is that you just gave more room. You weren't driving 85%. You were just being more cautious.
Yeah, I just instead of being like now, I was like now.
Yeah,
like just a little more patience.
Whatever it was, it worked.
We had
and then everybody I battled drove like I usually do and hit me or spun or crashed or something. So it worked.
Does your crew ever tell you to take it easy? Like, do they, or are they just?
Did you say my what?
Does your crew ever tell you to take it easy? Like,
no,
come on,
they're part of the reason why I said what I said on Saturday. My team's like, dude, you're not driving hard and you're not happy. You're frustrated and upset. Just drive the way you want to drive and have fun. Like, stop. Like when you're driving and having fun, you're one of the best drivers. So just do that. Like,
That's
okay.
badass.
Isn't that like the best part about all this though? Is like when you have a team like that so confident in their work and they're like, yo, if you blow this thing up, don't worry about it.
But they're not
Like,
even worried about that.
don't worry.
It's
I know,
so
but that's what I'm
good.
saying is like they're because they have a plan for it if it does happen.
Yeah, for sure.
Especially so it's like they're
And they know
confident
that.
saying that, right?
They know that I'm not going to blow it up.
Right.
Because like if I hear any noise or anything during practice or whatever, I'm immediately shutting down, having to get towed back or whatever the case is. Like I have a lot of mechanical empathy, even though I'm an asshole to the car.
But you can't tell me there hasn't been a time in your career where you're like, oh God, I should just take it easy. Like, because even back in the BMW days, you were breaking drive shafts. You even went to an LS at one point, like doing all these things that were breaking, right? And so you've always had in the back of your mind of something could potentially go wrong.
Yeah.
When this, you have more of an encouraging side of people just saying, yo, don't worry about anything because we have all of it over there and you probably have the best crew to put it together. So
Yeah, for sure.
just do your thing. So I think it's the confidence of the team supporting what you want to do, not being like, Chelsea, dude, we have a weak drive shaft. The axles are the knockoff axles. Like, take it easy. These are the AutoZone axles. Be careful. It's like, no, it's later.
No, hold on.
Yeah.
AutoZone axles are good axles, right, Chelsea?
They're pretty good.
Yeah. See.
Yeah.
Well, do you?
What's even better is a lifetime warranty on them.
Yeah.
You just buy two of them. You buy two of them.
Don't
and
give
you
out the
always bring one
secret,
back.
please stop. Dude, I bought 6 S14 axles and I just cycle them. Like when I go to Grid Life, I call the AutoZone by Grid Life, the track by Gingerman, 2 days in advance saying, hey, I'm gonna order some axles. How long before you get them
And
there?
they get them in stock.
And they get
for
them
you.
there in stock, and then when I need them, I just go swap them out
That's
if I
smart.
need them. If not, they
Well,
just
you
stay
want to
in
know a
stock.
crazy life hack? I feel like I shouldn't say this, but it's
Oh,
pretty good.
I'm learning so much right now. Go ahead.
Dude, spark plugs have a lifetime warranty.
No.
You know,
Yes.
and you know what?
Why?
So
Spark
do-
plugs only last 30,000 miles.
Dude,
Max.
what's crazy is all of us blow through, at least 2 full motor sets of spark
Yep.
plugs every weekend, right? So you just buy 4 sets and you just keep returning them over and over again. You never buy spark plugs ever.
you know what? So do brake
You're like,
pads.
oh, that's it.
Are
Yeah.
the AutoZone employees supposed
I
to
don't know
like
what
check?
brake pads you're getting.
I
there,
just,
but-
I
Check any of
just,
this?
I just learned it last week. Like if you buy a set of brake pads and then you just bring them like worn out, they'll give you a new set of brake pads. I couldn't believe it until
Yeah.
Brian did it in front of me. I was like, okay.
We're
I
not
know.
talking NGKs though. Only AutoZone brand.
No, NGK, same thing.
What?
Dude,
Fuck off.
Oh,
Jason from Link is my tuner for all of my stuff, right?
shout out to
And
Jason.
if he has to remove a plug to check it, it gets thrown in the trash. I'm like, stop throwing it in the trash. Give it back to me. Because you don't put the same
That's
plug back
gold.
in
Right.
ever.
That's
So-
gold.
I'm like, give them to me so when you need to pull them out again, which is every time I drive the car,
Spares.
like I can put new ones in and take those to get new ones again. I mean,
Do you really-
it's only saving you like $30 here and there, but 50
Dude,
times a
dude,
year,
yeah.
that's a lot.
Dude, I realized how spark plugs affect boosted cars. So like dude, I had no idea. I ran my plugs for like 3 rounds or 3 events. The 4th one,
Bibbidi
major
bobbidi
cutout.
motor, dude.
Dude, it
It's
started
bibbidi
cutting
bobbidi.
out, sputtering and popping,
I didn't
not
know
making
this.
boost. I literally threw new plugs in there and gapped them correctly.
Boom.
Back
perfect.
to normal horsepower. Like I felt like I was down probably 150 horsepower.
But
on
then
that
you
plugs.
they just get ungapped or overly gapped by driving for a weekend or one day, and
I
then
don't
you just
know.
toss them and
You
then
burn
or
them
not toss
or-
them. You return
Well, the
them.
problem is like the turbo cars have a lot of air fuel mixture problems, like on and off throttle, super rich, super lean,
build
and then
up.
usually they all push a little bit of oil and all that. So they just need to be changed all the time. I mean, I run like simple NGKRs. They're like R56718s,
Yep.
and they're like $2.30 a piece, and they work amazing.
My Subaru went through a lot of BR7
Sevens,
Ks.
yeah,
Yeah.
BRK7Es.
Mm-hmm,
The old SR20 plug.
Yep, same. I was surprised that for when I owned the
Let's
Except
not
Subaru
talk
and the
about
SR.
let's
Your
not talk about
Subaru
SR cars,
takes,
Sam,
like-
because you don't do jack diddly with yours still. It's still
It's
sitting
just
there.
you guys might as well pull the motor every time
Dude,
you
yeah,
change the
still
spark
nothing-
plugs because the Subaru motor broke the ring lands every time it needs plugs anyway.
My Subaru motors have been very happy and lucky so far.
Except your previous owner, they
Knock
bought.
on.
I feel like you don't ever
Knock
drive
on
your
wood.
car, so
He
how
doesn't
you
do
break
anything.
them?
He has an S14
What are you
with an
talking
SR
about?
Did you see
that is
him
doing
snap-
nothing.
What?
Yeah,
What do
he's,
you-
he's turning into a little baby right now.
Yeah,
Sam's
it's because
little
I'm
baby.
busy fucking I'm busy fucking making Chelsea look cool. I'm focusing on Chelsea, making Chelsea look cool in videos, making Chelsea look cool on our podcast. I don't have time for my S14 because I'm too busy making Chelsea great.
I thought you got
Alright,
fired from Team Monster.
I have to point out. I have to
I
point
quit
out.
because
You got
Chelsea
fired.
wouldn't stop hitting me. He was spiking monster cans on my head.
No.
You realize that? Oh, Sam's been on this team for a couple of years. Chelsea shows up. He's gone 1 year later. You know why? 'Cause he kept on spiking monster cans off my body.
No,
I have-
Vaughn was like, "Man, I'm over Sam, this meathead
Yeah.
Sam. He
I
needs
have-
to hit the road."
I have to point
This
out that
guy's an idiot.
Sam sounds like an angry Call of Duty player, especially because he's wearing that headset.
With
With
my
that,
cool headset.
yeah,
Dude,
it sounds like.
RTR's the one who gave him all the gray hairs, dude.
It's
Yeah.
true. It's true.
Dude, even like Sam, we would go to drift events together. Even like SEMA,
hmm
you would shoot all day. You would turn red as a lobster, dude. Like I would, you'd lay there and have to rub aloe vera all over your naked
Yep.
body just to make you feel better.
Just so I can go clubbing at night. You'd
Just
rub me
to go
down.
clubbing at night.
Yeah.
But then he would be editing till like 6 a.m. and back at SEMA at 8, and he would do that at every event that Vaughn was at.
Yeah. And now there's
Dude, and now look
strong
at
boys
you.
to take care of that because you can only do
Look
that
at
job for
you.
3 or 4 years before you die.
No, and then Vaughn
inside
says,
and out.
"I'm enough of this lobster-looking man
Yeah.
covered in aloe vera."
I'm gonna get a younger model.
Good old
Yeah.
Vern Gryffindor was like, you
Yeah.
know what? I'm over it.
I need a younger
fire
model.
this
I'm gonna get rid of this
dickhead
chump.
Sam.
We did get some younger models for
You
sure.
did. You did.
Wait, Preston's like 19 or 20 or something.
8 or 9 years old. Child labor. Classic Fawn.
That's Matt Field's gig, by the way. Child labor.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
Drift Cave.
Hey,
I know we kind of touched on this already a little bit, but the doubleheader, like it brought out some cool stuff. I think I was anticipating it being maybe like shitty, but I thought it was super cool from the aspect that you guys didn't have to go home for a month if you fucked up on Saturday. You know,
Well,
living with
everybody
that.
says that. And my process is like, if you messed up, you still messed up at round one, whether it's
Absolutely.
at the
It's
same
huge.
track or not.
But mentally, I
Um,
feel like it's good. It's a pro. But also, I think you get to adjust to the track, which I think is important. That you rather than just like setting your settings in your notebook, and I'll be back here next year maybe, and I'll use these again. But I feel like you got to use day one for day two. No, what do you think?
I think that in the 3 days of driving in the 2 events, we still turned less laps than a normal weekend was, even
Yeah.
with it being 2 rounds.
What competition brain versus practice or qualifying brain? Like, is it different to have that many more competition runs?
I think it's mainly different for some people, but not everybody. So it kind of makes it different for everybody anyway, because we got to lead and chase everybody in practice. So it's
Yeah,
I've treat my practice runs, probably more than half of them, like
you're always
okay,
winning practice.
This is it. You know,
You always win practice. You're the back-to-back practice champion.
I love to
Yeah.
get myself into situational trouble, 'cause then I know what to do when it happens. I'm like first lap out, following probably the worst driver in Formula D. He's never done a lap at this track. I'm dooring him,
Fuck
because if
yeah.
I can chase him, then I'll be able to chase anybody else.
Do you think you've destroyed mostly rear bumpers than anyone else in the past 2 years? I can't think of anyone else who's done more.
Rear bumper to rear
Alec
bumper,
Honado was pretty bad
probably.
too.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the last year, 1 to 2 years, I would say.
I think rear bumpers to rear bumpers probably, but I think Vaughn has probably killed more front chin splitters than I have killed rear bumpers.
Yeah. What's he doing to those
loves hitting
things?
things with the front of his car.
Yeah. I love how much. And does a team, like Jared jokes about it, and the RTR team are a bunch of badasses, so I imagine they don't bitch, but I do imagine that they like scoff at each other when it's like, all right, pop open the next crate of bumpers or front lips.
Yeah, pretty much.
It's a running joke though, right?
It's a running joke for sure. And like just like at the last event on Thursday, second lap, I was following Matt and he did the big flick in front of me. I wasn't expecting it. Yard sailed my car, blew everything on the left-handed side of the car off. The wheel was just pulled off the car, and it was lap 2. And I'm like on the radio, I'm like, "Hey guys, ready to warm up or what?" And they're like,
Yeah.
they're like, "Yeah." I'm like, "Let's just get this out of the way now." And we didn't replace any other body panels after that. All the bumpers and stuff that came off were still good. So
Yeah. Do you guys rehab bumpers? Not like totally decimated, but
yeah,
ones
if
that
they're all
have-
in one piece still, then we'll put a new partner decal over top of it if it's worn
Yeah.
off or something.
But if you
put
rip
that
the
on.
tabs off, and like, when do you guys decide to throw out a bumper?
It depends. Usually we'll just kind of take the worst one out of all of them and leave it at the track and put a new one on and, kind of push through that way. But when we were qualifying back in the day, They used to always put you. Even if I had a new bumper on, they'd take it off and put a used bumper on for qualifying because they knew that shit was coming off.
Yeah.
Do you ever seen another Mustang treating one of your bumpers?
No, but we saw some. So like every time we give away bumpers, I get tagged in like Instagram stories of people with them like walking through the pits, like this person's stealing your bumper, like, and I'm like, oh my god, go get them. But like I gave it to them, it was signed already.
Yeah.
Like I love messing with
Would
people.
that be a warning to you guys that are getting signed bumpers from Chelsea? You're gonna be like, "Oh, Pump, thank you so much, Chelsea. I appreciate you." And then he's gonna put a hit out on you, and someone's gonna fucking.
But somebody
drop kick
got
you.
one of our front splitters, like that was, I think it was half mine, half Vaughn's, and one of our rear little lip wings, and they put them together and put them on their car. So they reattached them, and they did like a really good job.
Oh,
And somebody tagged me in it, and I'm like, yo, those are our parts. Like, how did they get those?
That's right.
And it was like the Pennzoil decal was still on the front, and then the wing was like half gold, half blue. So I'm like, he just like pieced all of our spares together and made an RTR kit.
Because here's the thing. I think out of all the drivers on FD, you and Vaughn are the ones who have the most cosplayers that like try to look like
maybe.
you or Vaughn. There was like
Chris had quite a few of them too. I think
Well, that's-
Chris had like one of the first ones.
Yeah, the
True.
dude that was the Chris Forsberg.
Yo,
like,
a couple times I was like, yo, Chris. And the dude turned around and was like, yeah. I'm like, that's not you. Just me."
yeah,
There was a
It
guy.
was
There was a
uncanny.
guy that had like he was wearing the RTR shirt, had the beard, tight jeans.
I think it's just the fan, dude.
And-
I think
but
the
wait,
standard
but
RTR
he
fan
also-
looks like Vaughn.
But he also had the Mustang with full livery, everything to the dot.
Isn't that Von Gittin Jr.
Junior, yes.
I think so.
And then you have a buddy on up in Northwest that I think incidentally looks like you, and he's like your fan, or it's probably
Oh yeah, it's Seattle. I
and
see.
he has the same hair, the glasses. Yeah,
He's
it-
probably got 30 pounds on me though, but you know, I don't
Well,
always
good
show
season,
off
bro.
too well anyway. Sometimes I look a little heavier than I am, or maybe that's my true colors. I
you
don't
actually,
know.
own it,
you're-
man.
it
Stop
looks
being
like you're
embarrassed
losing
about it,
weight,
just own
dude. You're
it.
looking good.
I mention it every time on the show, but before Chelsea married you, she said that she
Chelsea?
wanted to put the fat on your body because she wanted that
She
dad
did.
body.
Oh.
So
Yeah.
it sounds like it works with the ladies.
That-
Corey can attest to it as well.
She
that-
started feeding you dog food.
What'd you say?
That weight goes to that butt.
Oh.
What she said.
Chelsea's like, I did what?
She said she
I'm
wanted
like,
to fatten
I'm
you up.
sleeping. Why are you pouring olive oil in my mouth?
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. She said she wanted to
Straight
fatten you up
vegetable oil.
because she wanted the dad body.
I definitely have the dad bod, but I'm just a pup dad. I probably won't be a human dad.
Yeah, you're like a
Good.
baby bear. What call him? Help me out here.
I mean, I'm
You've
5'11", 190, dude.
No,
I'm just right in the groove,
Yeah,
dude.
Chelsea's into it. What do they call? So there's bear. Oh, cubs. You're a cub.
I don't know.
You have
what
the
that
hair?
means.
He's a weasel. No,
Give
it's
it-
not a weasel. What's it called?
A weasel?
Weasel.
This
No,
Did you
no,
just
no.
call-
this sounds
Did you just
good
call
at
Chelsea
all.
DeNofa a weasel?
Not a weasel.
Paco,
It's
Paco, what are you trying
a-
to say?
You're an asshole. I'm
Oh,
not a weasel.
Paco? Jesus Christ.
Yeah,
I'm glad you
Paco.
noticed. Thank you. No, I'm
Look, Paco, you're about to turn into. You're like a teenage.
He's like getting red right
he's
now.
Yeah,
like
look at his
teenage-
haircut too.
he's
Paco, show us the
teenage-
back of your head.
He's teenage
Look at that
Mexican
haircut.
Santa
Wait,
What
wait,
the
this
fuck
is
is
Max
that?
from Driftcast. Can't you just rewind 20 seconds and take back
Yeah.
what you said?
Yeah,
yeah,
Paco.
we're live, don't you know?
Yeah.
What'd you say?
He's
That I'm
teenage
awesome?
Mexican
Thanks.
Santa.
Chelsea, you are a very handsome man.
Perfect.
There you
Stop.
go.
He's
Fixed.
taken.
Thanks. Now I'm
Fucking
turning
sucker.
red.
Fucking
Now,
Paco.
there you go.
Do you guys have any more hard hitting questions for him before
An
we get
otter.
to
There you go.
Instagrams and super chats?
Sorry, Brandon Whedon in the chat. Correct me. An otter. Thank you,
Otter.
Brandon.
Thank you, Brandon.
Whedon.
Yeah, one of these shows we're gonna really go deep into all the gay classifications for men at truck stops to refer to each other. Like I'm a cub. I learned because I am hairy, but not.
You're a
that
silver
large.
fox, Sam.
And I'm kind of like a verse top power bottom, is from what I understand. Corey, which one are you? I forget.
What's that?
Your classification of male?
Hot dog.
Oh,
No,
take him
You're
as you
like
can get him,
a-
Sam.
you're like a pug pup power eater.
Uh-huh.
13 hot dogs
Bring it.
a minute. I forget. Okay, we're gonna hit some more super chats and then Instagrams. But do you, Corey Paco, have any further?
Yeah, how bad did you fuck up your foot
serious.
jumping off the fence?
Yeah,
We're
that
going
was
right
funny.
to that.
The somersault was sick.
Well, that was to absorb.
Did you do a somersault? I missed that.
I used to skateboard every day of my life, and I rode BMX till I was
You
like
sold it, dude.
25, right?
It
So-
totally looked like parkour.
So I jumped off the fence, and I knew how high up I was. I just didn't think of the bank at all, and I was like, "Oh man,
You're
I'm
pumped.
gonna land only on my heels, like in race shoes that are like basically not wearing shoes." So I sucked up as much as I could of it, absorbed it all, rolled my shoulder in, flipped Willy Wonka, and popped back up. And when I popped back up, I was like, I am broken.
Oof.
And then Lorette's like, hey, we got to do an interview real quick. I'm like, this
Did you
hurts so
actually-
bad. And I'm like tippy-toeing on the bank that's angled like this. So I'm like basically falling, you know.
Did you actually dunk yourself on your foot? Did you hurt
Oh, I'm
for
hurting.
days? You're
I've
still
been-
hurting.
Oh, yeah. I've been icing a few times a day.
Good thing you didn't win
and I'm
Saturday.
using my bicycle as a wheelchair to get back and forth between my shop because
Fuck
I can't.
off.
I walk at like 1 mile per hour now.
You
I'm
didn't
that
hurt
guy
your clutch
in
foot.
Walmart that you're walking behind and you're like gears are grinding.
You foolish man.
Yeah,
Dude,
so
I
they're
went-
pretty wrecked.
Taking a slam. How old are you right now?
Old enough to party.
32.
Dude, didn't you notice when you pass 30, you can't slam, dude?
I can still
No.
slam, dude.
You could,
The-
dude, I cannot slam. I went to a skate park probably a year ago, and like I did like this little weak roll.
Very
and
old
I got
kickflip.
down. No, I hit a rock and I spit off the
Oh,
front,
yeah. Got
and I
wheel
hit and I
bite.
slid 30 feet, and I laid there for a second, and I was like, "Holy fuck, dude!" And all these
Yeah.
kids
It also
started
turned
gathering
into,
around.
like, a
Old
piece of
Boomer went
acrylic.
down, dude. Reporting
Yeah.
Boomer down.
It
took me-
is-
Yeah. Boomer down.
It is weird still having like the mental energy and kind of the physical energy, but just no recovery.
none.
'Cause, yeah, I've like hit my knee against like the side of the bed, and I'm out for like 2 minutes.
Dude, if
Like,
I was in a
can't get
video
off the ground.
game, my
It was
stamina
funny
would
'cause-
be 4 out of 10. My strength would be 3 out of 10, and my durability would be 1 out of 7.
Yeah.
It would be, dude.
I
You
still
wouldn't want
do
to pick me on
okay,
any football.
But
team.
I haven't like put myself out of normal life commission in a while, and this definitely did that. But it's
Yeah.
it's definitely on the up already. We're on day 3 of recovery, and it seems okay. But yeah, I had to crutch through the airport and everything. I was
Oh, it's bad.
the next day. I was like, man, I'm won, but I am not pumped about it because I
I
am
did-
hurting, and there's no one to blame but myself.
When I saw that, I was like, "Oh, he must have hurt himself," but I didn't really see anything else about it.
There's
so I figured
probably-
you were good. But Corey, I'm glad you brought it up because I'm happy to know that you did it. In fact,
I did a
hurt
big
yourself. I'm
slam,
not happy.
dude.
There's probably footage of me at the ceremony, and I was like, you could tell that I was really pushing through it, and I was struggling.
Oh.
And I had to like, get on top of the box, and I like had to like use my knees and like roll onto it. Like, it was like so
Just
bad.
slowly rolling.
Yeah, it was.
Oh,
and then
God.
like all in the middle of the night, I'm getting up. So I'm like, oh, I gotta get a drink. And
Sad
like, I
panda
forget, and I just
style.
slam my feet down. And I'm like,
Mashed potato feet. You got mashed potato feet.
So Chelsea just texted me and she said she's got to get her daddy to bed in the next
What?
3 minutes because he's got to have his warm milk and he's got to get his foot
Well,
rubbies
shit.
in.
Actually, the
So-
story is I'm hustling, and I sold a gearbox, a F250 gearbox to somebody, and they're meeting
Oh.
me down the street.
Shit.
I'm like,
Okay,
"No,
so
I need
here's-
some money.
Here's what we're
Sorry."
gonna do, boys. I'm gonna read the super chats. You guys,
Let's do it.
Corey,
Let's get rid of some
Paco,
Instagram
find the
questions.
best grammars, and we're gonna hit Chelsea with them fast and loose. Ben Trantor says, "How did you get the nickname Chelsea? Don't call me a girl, DeNofa."
Jared gave it to me in 2010, maybe. I mean, I don't know, just a thing. I actually
someone-
one time was like, "Don't call me that," like kind of messing around. I don't give a crap.
Yeah,
But,
and then
and he's like,
latched.
"Oh, I'm so sorry. Like, I won't." I'm like, "Okay."
Cool.
And then he
That
didn't
worked.
for like a long time, and then now he does it again.
Yeah, it became a thing. It comes and
Yeah.
goes.
It's
Mike Jessop says, "How bad did you hurt your feet jumping off the wall after your win? Can you get into how bad you hurt your foot?"
pretty bad. I think my right heel is cracked and fractured.
are you joking?
And my left one is bruised.
You actually think you cracked some shit?
Yeah, it's crunchy for sure. I'm
What
just
the
supposed to get some X-rays tomorrow.
Yeah,
so-
but it sounds like one of those things that it's like they look at it and like, yeah, that's broken. Good luck.
Well, the problem is if it's shattered, then I really need to just not use it for like a week or so,
Yeah.
and I want to know so that way I can either push through it like safely or just not do anything for a week.
Dude,
Because once it's broken, like you have to heal it quickly, or later on it'll be big
Yeah.
problems.
So
You
no,
came
heel
down like a
toe-
meteorite. Was there a hole in the asphalt where you landed?
No, but it was. I only jumped from like 5 or 6 feet, but then
The
I jumped
dinosaurs
down
went
the bank
extinct.
like 4
Yeah.
feet. So it was really like 7.5 feet, and I
When
didn't
you're-
calculate the
Dude,
bank.
it
and
would have
that's
been
what ruined
awesome
me.
if you just like kept like rolling all the way down to the grass.
When you're pumped,
Just
you're
have
pumped,
everybody
though.
follow
I
you
think,
with
that,
the
cameras
I
and the
think that we
microphone.
can all say it was worth
All
it.
right,
Right,
Sam,
Chelsea?
shut up. Chelsea,
Yeah,
this is a
Instagram.
question from you from Boner Donor 69. He wants to know, do you want qualifying back?
I want it back for sure. I love driving qualifying, so definitely.
Do you think qualifying is the place where drivers get to do like the expression, the backwards, close to like snappy, crazy angle, all that stuff, and
I think
then
so.
and then on battle, that's where you have to be like more conservative because you kind of have to be fair with the other drivers.
Yeah, I think that the X factor during qualifying is a little higher than the main runs, because also like none of us really want to screw the chase driver, right? And like
Yeah.
doing some of the stuff we do in qualifying would totally screw the chase driver.
Unless
so,
the chase driver's super attractive.
yeah.
Well, I mean,
True.
like
Then
for
you wanna
example, like
screw 'em.
when if you mess up your chase run, let's say like last year at it was St. Louis.
2
when-
years ago. I
Cut to the
think, yeah.
chase, Pucko.
Yeah, you
Cut to the chase run, Paco.
you just threw like the craziest backy on the
Yeah.
lead because you knew like there was no saving it. Like you pretty much
Yeah, for sure.
okay. So what are your thoughts on that? Like, is that like let's just bring more attention to this because after that I think you
we'll just
gain
have
like
fun.
35% more fans.
You-
It was fucking
Yeah.
epic, dude. It was like
it's actually a little farther back, but yeah, it's
Okay.
definitely like that.
Chelsea, how much do you hate Pucko?
I got no beef, dude.
None.
Oh, you
If
don't
there's
have
anyone
any
that
beef
deserves
with
it, it's me.
Pucko? Sam.
Boop.
We got to run through some quick
Yes.
Instagram. He's got to go.
Let's do it.
Macho
2
Man Randy
seconds.
Sanchez with a hard hitter. You can have your 2 seconds right after this hard hitting question from Macho Man. What physical contest should they replace qualifying with?
Oh, boxing.
Boxing.
No kicking, straight boxing.
Kicking. Just
boxing.
kicking.
Who do,
Only kicking.
Who do you
Only
want?
kicking.
Who do you want to go
No
against?
kicking.
Why can't you do like a beer chugging contest before the event?
Oh God.
Who do you want to punch the most?
Who do I want
Is
to
that
punch?
is that a fan question?
No. I mean,
Paco,
just
don't
like
time
it's
Paco
it's
the
an
Clown.
It's him
expression.
asking
That's
it,
from
not
Paco the
anybody
Clown.
else.
Okay, he's got 35 seconds left to be on the show. Corey, what was your question?
Nothing.
Great.
Nothing.
Ben Javik says, given the opportunity, would you wear a gold tip on your wiener? Which one?
Give
Yes?
me a-
No.
That's a yes or no?
No.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
Okay, that's yes.
That's a
Chelsea
yes.
says
That's a
I
yes.
have one.
That's
I
yes. Okay. Brand White says, will you be investing in better footwear that can absorb impact after your crash post-event?
Well, it's not. I mean, the footwear I was wearing is great for the track and driving. It's just not meant for parkour, hardcore.
For sure. For sure. Macho Man also says, new comment. What part of the human do you think goes on a pizza best?
What part of the what?
What
What
part of
part
the human
goes
best
on pizza best? Hurry up. Hurry.
Best
hurry.
topping.
Ears.
Years. Okay.
Oh my god, great. Thanks.
Shit. Why is Sam now the biggest? tease
Sam,
on
he
YouTube?
needs to go.
Yeah, I know. One more.
Stop
Find
digging.
It. Find it.
He's looking for a legitimate question.
Dude, there's no.
I think.
You
I have-
should know we don't get any serious
I
questions.
have
on
one.
Instagram.
Can I
They're
please?
some of the
Hey.
best
Do it.
questions.
Hey!
Shh, do it.
Hyde 097. You are third in the championship point standings. Do you think you can pull the whole season together and take the championship?
For
Of course
sure.
Hell yeah.
100%.
Hell
And we
yeah.
will.
Do it.
There you go.
can quote me on
Want
that.
to see you
I
on the
have you-
podium more
I-
often, man.
I made a secret bracket bet pact, and you're in the top 3 of the finals for the season.
Perfect.
I'm not going to tell you where, because then you're going to go too hard to try to meet my expectations.
Yeah.
Because I know how you are. Yeah, that's good. I think that about covers it. Chelsea, if you want to go to the Instagram and answer these super fan questions, please feel free.
Tonight I will do that after I
um,
make some money
Make
selling
some
a
money. Sell that tranny.
I hope the guy
baby.
goes, "Hey, can you load that in the back of my truck for me?"
Yeah.
Oh God. I know. I'm forklifting it in the back. I'm not stressing myself at all.
Or have
No, I
Chelsea
would say
lift-
pick it
have-
up
have
by
Chelsea
yourself.
lift it for you.
Yeah.
It's
Well, she
like
can
a
hook it.
6-speed ZF with a transfer case. It's got to weigh like 950 pounds.
So it weighs as much as Pucko. All right.
Cool. Well, thank you so much, Chelsea. We
No
appreciate
problem.
you taking the time for the show.
Yep,
I know you
thanks,
were
Chelsea.
late
Congrats,
by
by
not
the way.
caring. Just kidding. It's my fault.
Thanks for
Yeah,
Chelsea for
congratulations.
letting
Appreciate
you.
you for having me.
Thanks Chelsea for letting you be on the show as well.
Yeah.
I know you're a busy man.
Good luck in
let me do
the
something.
old.
St.
Good luck in
Louis,
the old
Seattle.
WA in a few weeks.
Will do. All right,
bud.
guys.
We'll see you
Have
We'll
fun.
catch you,
Well, thank
See
you,
ya.
bro.
later, man.
dude.
All
To
right.
be honest with you, he's a real piece of shit. To be honest,
Oh.
Sam,
Oh.
spit it out. Say what you really want to say about Chelsea right now, Sam. I
Sacre
dare
mon
you.
ami.
You know what? I figure that each
Say
time he
it.
comes on the show, I'm gonna like him even less somehow. But
Yeah,
no, he
oh,
wins
yeah.
me over. He wins me over each time.
Oh,
fact
really?
the fact that he hurt himself is funny.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
No, it's not true. That sucks.
Boys.
Because I've been pumped before, and I've hurt myself when I'm pumped. Actually, that's most of the time I hurt myself is when I'm pumped.
That was,
Side
Sam, I
note,
was trying to
that's
bring, dude.
that
can
is
you
the
just
best time to get
I'm trying to bring
get
back the
hurt.
roasting segments of old Maxim Driftcast every time
Yeah.
somebody hangs up.
No,
and now
but
you're
you're right.
sucking everybody's ding. I want to start making fun of you.
No. We should do it. We should do it. It's 2020. Just because it's 2020, it's hard on everyone.
God.
Doesn't mean we should start being nice to people. We shouldn't
This
be
is
nice
the problem
to
with
people.
the society. We're being too nice. Tell them what you
I
really
would
feel about
say
Chelsea.
what I don't like about Chelsea most is his fucking attitude
Oh, fuck yeah, dude.
and his fucking
I
face.
fucking hate it.
He's
and
got-
his
and-
fucking face.
You know what? I wish.
What, Sam?
I wish that he's got a fracture in his heel that can't be healed by modern medical practices.
Yeah.
And I hope that his foot hurts for a real long time because it probably will because he's old and he don't heal so good anymore.
And do you know what Iron Doogie says? Do you know who sucks?
Who?
Chevy.
Chevy.
Yeah.
Chevy, fuck LS's, fuck Camaros, fuck
This
Corvette.
is what we
Solid
need. We need
best
this to
engine
come back.
ever.
I miss this so much. I
Yeah,
want
where's my
I want Maximum Driftcast hang up roast to fire back. Because you know what? Fuck this.
I lost my fire a little bit over these past few months, but you know
Yeah.
what? Fuck drifting.
'cause you
Fuck FD.
Suck.
Fuck Ryan Sage.
Fuck
Jim Rock,
Corey.
fuck you.
Oh my god.
Oh, whoa, whoa.
Larry Chen.
Sam.
Hey,
Fuck
give
you,
the-
Larry Chen.
Dude, Sam, fuck,
I don't even,
answer all this
Give Sam
I don't
a
even know.
bleep button.
up.
I don't even know why I brought Larry into this. He's nice.
Oh,
you know what?
Sam.
You know what? Fuck you too, Lewis.
Whoa. No,
I'm
no.
sorry.
Don't
I
bring
didn't
Lewis
mean
into
that.
this.
I can't. Sam,
I
you're
didn't mean that.
Lewis
good,
is
Sam,
immaculate.
Please, Sam. Oh my
Don't
god.
don't do
Stop
that.
trying to buy my 240 and my STI. I
This
forget
is
which car you're
why-
trying to buy
this is-
again. I don't.
This is what. This is. Okay, I shouldn't have done. I shouldn't have brought it. This is why we can't bring because Sam does not have
Yeah.
any self
Should
control.
I should probably pull it back again.
God damn
See, this
it.
is what happens. You shouldn't let me do this.
Grumpy,
Yeah,
Building Dreams Ground says grumpy old men cast. You know what?
yeah,
You.
yeah. That's fair.
Um,
I mean, like I said, Paco looks like teenage Mexican Santa before his hair turned gray. He's just. I think he's frozen
I
too. With just his
froze.
little,
What
look
the
at his look
fuck?
at that frozen
Look at his-
profile.
Oh
Wow.
my god.
why am I
Yeah.
frozen?
This is what I've been waiting for, dude. This is what I love about Driftcast.
Mm-hmm.
Thank God that
Um,
came back. I'm glad we got that out.
Yeah, and we're gonna do it hard next week for sure. Because next week we've already confirmed Fred
Next week.
Osbro's gonna be
Oh.
on. So Freddie will be here. Gonna find out all about the new Supra.
Yeah, I can't wait.
Actually,
wanna talk about
I wanted to-
Freddie's
I-
Supra.
I wanted to ask you guys. So, what are your
Mhm.
thoughts on Pro 2? So I think Pro 2.
look-
Actually, it's
I
really
think
good.
it looked really good. It's such a hard course for everyone.
Yeah.
And I think I forget which one of the dudes said it, but they said in a Lorette interview maybe of how much easier, not easier. The track is made for Pro 2 dudes essentially. Like it's made for less tight cars maybe.
Yeah, maybe.
I wouldn't say made for. I'd say that maybe they had a better chance at doing well. But Pro 2 looked really good in my opinion. I'm excited to see what they'll do on Monroe because I think that track.
Just say this: we didn't have drifting for. We didn't have Formula
Maybe
Drift for
that's
every
why
year.
I feel good.
It feels so good for it to be back. And you know what? I miss not being able to smell the tire smoke.
Mhm.
I miss not high fiving everybody.
Mhm.
But it's back, guys. It is drifting is happening again.
Yep.
Formula Drift is happening again. The competition was good. Dude, there was no slouches from top 32 or top 28 on. It was
Yeah,
awesome.
it was
dude.
very exciting.
It was awesome. It is back. I think this is refreshing to everybody. I think that's what everybody
Yes.
needed. And like what Chelsea said during this podcast that really stuck out to me is like, dude, everybody had jitters coming back. They've been
Yeah.
out for over a year, and now the jitters are gone on day 2. So I think Seattle is going to be absolutely amazing.
Not over a year, almost a year.
Almost no. Well, Formula D.
November or Irwindales are in November, aren't they?
Okay,
Yep.
so it's almost been a
October.
year, right?
Yeah, just don't.
So it's almost been a year. Just-
Someone will call it out. We
I
gotta
don't
call it out
care.
now. Yeah,
You know
I
what?
know. You're
If anyone else
hyped.
call me out, them.
You're about to break your heel. You're so hyped.
Dude, I'm gonna smash it against my keyboard.
Yeah.
No, but I think going into Seattle, once again, it's a track everybody's driven. They're comfortable
Mhm.
with. It's been on the circuit for an extremely long time.
Yep.
We're gonna see some really heavy stuff, and that's what
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to. But it's back, guys.
And the
F these-
double
shout out-
headers.
And, you know, even though Sam said F everybody, dude,
Yep.
they put on a show. You know, live stream was good and held together the entire time. The fans
Yep.
were actually not super toxic. We were actually more toxic than the
They got a
fans
new.
were.
They
Yeah.
got a new.
You, Sam?
They got a new live stream team.
The only thing I'll criticize about the live stream is the music they would do.
For
The music was
replay.
tough.
Oh, it was so hard.
It was
Guys,
real heavy not heavy dubstep. It was 8-bit and dubstep, and kind of going back from 8-bit and dubstep. And like the song would, it was very repetitive after each battle. So we'd watch a battle and then
Look at that inner clip.
yeah, just
And then
it was the
this.
same bit every time. It was tough.
Oh, that would be good. That would be a good
Wow,
replay.
look at him touch that inner clip. Oh yeah.
I would like that. I would
now
like
he's
that.
coming out to slam the zone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Mike
baby.
Lake also called it out, and it's like it differentiated between that and like corporate motivational royalty free, which I understand better than most people the difficulty of finding quality music that is royalty free and licensable.
Yeah.
But it was tough for me. But all things considered, if
They,
that's
they
one of
could
the
pull
biggest,
the music out of it. They could pull the music out.
Yeah.
That'd be my only suggestion.
that's
and
the
it'd be
biggest-
amazing.
The other
It'd be
thing-
fine without the music. They don't need the music to make it
if
feel emotional.
that's
The
the
other
biggest
thing-
complaint I have about the live stream. Though, that's
wait,
pretty
hold
good.
on, hold
Dude,
on. One of
it was great.
Listen, one of the
Okay,
things
what
about the
part?
live stream also, like when they were doing the replay,
Uh-huh.
they would go like from one camera of like let's say like the first clipping point, and then they'll switch to the same clipping point but from a second camera. So like the continuity of the video, like will make you feel like
Yeah.
like it's go back to the same turn and then they'll suddenly switch to slow motion, which also made it weird. Like the slow, like it.
I didn't really notice that.
You couldn't tell that the video was going on slow motion. It was like suddenly like,
Hmm.
you know, like going slow, and you couldn't tell that the guys are like just being slowed up. So maybe like an icon saying like this is a
That
slow
might be
motion,
a nitpick.
a slow
Okay.
motion.
Paco.
Well, hey, wait,
I
wait,
can
no.
identify frame
Hey
rates
guys,
to the
welcome to
frame.
Maxim Driftcast. You're here with Pucko giving a
See, like
play-by-play
people
on
in the
cameras.
chat, people in the chat are agreeing with
Make sure you
me.
turn
I
in the
noticed
next
that.
Andy-
no, shut up,
Andy
Corey.
Itzlet-
Hey, Corey, give me some beeps.
Andy Itzlet
Fuck
said he
you,
noticed it
Corey.
too.
Fuck you, Sam.
Wow. Okay.
Let
okay,
me
that's
finish.
harsh. Okay.
And finally, the last thing that bothered me a lot is that a lot of the driver photos, some were like very close up to the face,
Dude,
and some were like a very like you can see like
It's-
half the racing suit.
Odie's picture on day one was super dark, where he had no hat on and looked like he was just a giant bald
Yeah,
guy.
he was
I
like
And
remember
on
super
day
tan.
two, it looked like they lightened it up because he didn't look bald on day
It was
two.
super
Yeah.
red too.
A lot of them did look a little bit haggard, a little bit tough. I assume this is because the driver's been going through some tough times. I also want to talk about before
Go
we
ahead.
end the show,
Yep.
Jeff Jones fucking killing it.
Yes.
I mentioned Joao was looking really good comparatively to previous runs. I was pumped to see that. Jeff Jones, fucking monster. Dylan Hughes is going to be like
Dylan Hughes is a
predicted before.
monster.
He's
Dylan Hughes is a
gonna be
monster.
competitor for
Alex-
He's
sure.
a monster.
Alec Robbins, mark
Yep.
my words, rookie of the year.
Yeah, he was shredding.
If he could pull back the aggressiveness and not drive like it looks like the car was driving him, and if the car drove well, he did well. But he was
Yeah.
hanging on and driving his ass off. I think he will do well. He just has to mellow it out a little, just
Yep.
a smidge, and he will do very big things.
Taylor Hull,
Yes.
top 16.
Top
That was
16,
awesome.
crying during
So
his
happy-
interview. Amazing.
So happy to see him in top 16. That was great to see.
Well, Taylor Hall has been driving all these shootouts, and he
Mhm.
won 2.
Yeah.
So like he's definitely been putting all this competitive, driving.
the thing is, I think the course that Taylor was driving during those shootouts is very similar as far as not being a massive fast track, and so it kind of worked with what he's been driving on. And so he had a big advantage, and it showed. He made top 16, dude. Took out some hitters. He took out Dean Kearney. Come on, let's go.
Come on, let's go.
Let's go. Clutch kickers. Yep.
I
that's what it
actually,
is.
I want to see Dean Kearney get up there because he kind of like, like it seemed like he was not ready. But I like to see Dean Kearney after all these years, like hit more podiums.
Coming.
The Japanese boys, Taguchi, fun to watch. He did all right.
Wataru Matsuyama.
Yeah, Matsuyama, like I can see the potential there. I just don't think he was maybe prepared car setup or mentally for the American drift scene because like I can see he's very skilled, but like his car wasn't fast or something. I don't know
Well,
what it was. What do
I
you
mean,
guys think?
it's the trickiest track.
Yeah.
And even James Dean, shit the bed last year in that same layout. So I think in retrospective, I think Matsuyama did a very good job because
Yeah.
he was actually on people's doors.
I ain't talking
and-
shit
Yeah, no.
because everyone looked good.
Everybody,
But-
everybody looked on point. It's just like somebody has to win.
Mhm.
I would say like maybe for example like Adam LZ. I think he's moving a little too fast because
Yeah,
we should actually let's
I
save
think he
this
made-
conversation. We should
Yes.
save this conversation for next week because this could be a whole
Yeah.
topic where we can break down
Yeah, it could.
rookies, Pro
Yes.
2s,
Yeah,
Pro
yeah,
1s.
yeah, yeah.
We should save all that because you're gonna dig into another 2 hours, Pac.
Yeah, and we can't. I'm already can smell the LZ brigade just getting ready to jump on my bit.
oh dude, I
But he had-
want to see
He had a really
him.
tough. He had a really tough role because he had to go against two ex
Yeah.
champions. But I also don't think he was necessarily ready to go against those champions. But that's a whole other topic.
Is that a topic
Let's talk
for
about
next
next-
week's Sam?
Yes.
So who
Yes, I'd
who
love
do,
to talk about it next week because
who do we
we're
have?
going to talk to Osbo, who went up against him.
We
Oh,
have
there you go.
Frederick Barboso next week, Pac.
what?
Frederick Barboso.
I don't know who's that.
Oh, Frederick Osbo. Sorry.
Oh,
Yeah. So we got him next week. But in the meantime, we want to thank you guys for watching this show. We want to thank you guys for being fans of drifting,
Patreon.
and for liking us and for spending time with us. Thank you to the Patreones for being Patreones still. Thank you to everyone who super chatted this show and who will do it next time. I think we're doing next Wednesday with Osbo, so be ready to check it out then. In the meantime, check out Corey on the Twitch. He's going to be doing some fun stuff. You can check me out on your DMs. I'll be sliding into them.
also, Corey, tell people about
Okay.
our Discord.
Oh,
Yes.
join our Discord, guys. I want to link it in YouTube chat right now, guys. If you just look up Discord,
I just
Maximum Driftcast,
links right there.
photos, videos, the whole nine. Make sure you guys get in there because we do a lot. We do a lot of
I
stuff.
haven't been active in there yet. Are you guys active in there? I hope you are. I'd like to be.
We're trying. I mean, we're still setting it up. Our very
Yeah,
good
we're
buddy,
still setting it up,
our
obviously.
very good buddy Mitch is taking care of it. He's
Yeah,
kinda
well,
like
let's let the bodies hit the floor and do it. Also, we didn't really have like a real watch scenario this weekend, did we? Because I do want to have that proper for watching FD. How did you guys just watch it alone as well? Where'd you guys watch it?
watch party with our friend Alex Anderson.
Did you do a watch party without me and not invite me? Is that what happened?
Yeah, Sam. I don't know if you remember, but you live in California.
Corey, where'd you
Yeah.
watch?
I watch it from my phone at the shop.
Oh, okay. See, this is what I'm talking about, guys. We got to get together on this. I feel really disconnected from you guys lately.
That's all right, guys. Thank you all for tuning in tonight. Maximum Driftcast. Sam, Puck,
Yep.
myself, Patreons. Thank you guys. We'll be back next week with Frederick Osbo on Wednesday. Keep up to date on our Instagram. Keep up to date on our Discord. We'll have all the news there as far as when we're going to go live. But
See
until
you
then,
next-
see you next
see- it's Wednesday.
Wednesday.
Probably.
Probably.
We'll see. That's what he said. He's no Chelsea DeNofa. He'll show up on time.
Hey, thanks for tuning in to Mad Driftcast. Oh, look at all the
F in the chat for
angles.
Chelsea.
Look at all that. They're coming in hot. Yeah.
You guys have a
See you
good
next
night.
Wednesday.
Can you do that zoom on your face again, Corey?
Up.
Yeah.
All right. Good night. Bye. Adios.